Okay, we'll be starting in a few minutes. I just want to connect my students in my WhatsApp group to the class. Please be patient. We'll be starting in less than 2 minutes. Okay, I think we're ready. We're ready. So in today's class, we are looking at the topic Sohcahtoh TOA. Sohcahtoh TOA. So this week in our WhatsApp group, we've been considering trigonometry. On Wednesday, we looked at Pythagoras theorem. And today we'll be continuing by looking at Sohcahtoh TOA. So this is one of the topics in trigonometry, okay? So when we are looking at Pythagoras theorem, we said Pythagoras theorem is used to find an unknown side of a right angle triangle when the other two sides are given. So whenever you have a situation like this, and you know this is 12, this is 5, you can find this side by using Pythagoras theorem. But there are some situations where you are given one side and you are given an angle, let's say theta. So in this situation, we can see that an angle is involved and one side of the right angle triangle is given. So in this situation, oh, you can't see. So in this situation, you can't use Pythagoras theorem because for you to use Pythagoras theorem, you need to know two sides. Then you can find one side. So whenever you have this situation, then what you're going to look at is Sohcahtoh TOA, okay? So what is Sohcahtoh TOA? Or how do we use Sohcahtoh TOA? This is used to calculate an unknown side of a right angled triangle when one side and one angle is given. So whenever you have a situation where you are given one side, you're given one angle, and you're expected to find one of the sides of the right angle triangle, then you cannot use Pythagoras theorem. You can only use Sohcahtoh TOA. Okay? Also, you might be confronted with a situation. Good evening, peace. Nice to see you. Welcome. You might be confronted with a situation where you are given two angles and you are given two sides and you're expected to find one angle. So it can also be used to find an unknown angle when two sides are given. So you can be confronted with another situation where you are given two sides and you're expected to find an unknown angle. Oh, those on what on TikTok said my network is disturbing. So sorry about that. If the network is disturbing, you can switch to YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type Agbanimas Academy. The same name I have on TikTok. If you type on YouTube, you'll see my platform on YouTube. Sorry about that. Sorry about the network issue. So those on YouTube, are you also experiencing network issues? Good evening, Lawrence. Nice to see you. Okay. So two situations where we can use where we can use Sohcahtoh, when you are given one side and one angle, and you're expected to find the other side. Also, when you are given two sides and you're expected to find an angle. So these two situations can only be solved using Sohcahtoh. You cannot solve this using Pythagoras theorem. So whenever you have a problem on trigonometry that involves an angle, then you cannot use Pythagoras theorem. Okay. Golden Boy says, no, I think the network is okay on YouTube. Okay, so now let's look at a diagram that explains how to go about solving this. Someone says it's blurry on YouTube. It will get better. Okay, so let's draw a right angle triangle. So this is a triangle. Is this a right angle triangle? We don't know yet until we do this angle. So this sign shows that this is a 90 degrees, and a right angle triangle is a triangle that has one of its angles equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so once we see this, we know that this is a right angle triangle. From what we learned in Pythagoras theorem, we know that the side opposite the 90 degrees is called the hypotenuse. So the side opposite the 90 degrees is the hypotenuse. When we are looking at Pythagoras theorem, we did not consider any other angle. But let's assume that we have another angle here called theta. Okay, let's say there is another angle here. Remember, in Sohcahtoh, an angle is involved. Okay, so let's say this angle, we are considering this angle. This angle here has a side opposite it. So if you look at this angle, there's a side directly opposite it. This side is called opposite. Right? So when you have an angle here, the side opposite it is called opposite. And then this last side, once you have identified the hypotenuse, you have identified the opposite, this last side is called adjacent. So the first side to identify is the hypotenuse, which is opposite the 90 degrees. The next side to identify is the opposite, which is opposite the angle given. So here is the angle that you're given. So the side opposite it is called the opposite. And then the last side is called the adjacent. Therefore, this means that if you are given the angle here, then this will end up being the opposite, and this will end up being the adjacent. So the location of the opposite and adjacent depends on the location of the angle. So when the angle is here, the opposite is here. When the angle is here, the opposite is here. Okay? So now, remember the topic is Sohcahtoh. What does so mean? When I define these terms, so, we consider these two letters, O and H. O and H. So is also called sine. Okay, we call it sine here. I don't know how it is called in your country. we'll call it sine. But basically, SO means opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So OH, opposite divided by hypotenuse. So the O here represents opposite, the H here represents hypotenuse. So means opposite divided by hypotenuse. Okay. Next, we have CAH. We look at these two letters again. We have A and H. Looking here, with A is adjacent, H is hypotenuse. That means CAH represents adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have seen that SO is opposite over hypotenuse. CAH is adjacent over hypotenuse. We also have tan. But tan is called TOA. So TOA. But on your calculator, you see it as tan, okay? So this means opposite divided by adjacent. So opposite divided by adjacent. So whenever you're solving using Sohcahtoh, you must take note of these three terms. So is opposite over hypotenuse, CAH is adjacent over hypotenuse, and TOA is opposite over adjacent. Okay? But how are they written on your calculator? So sine is written as is written as SIN. CAH is written as COS, and TOA is written as TAN. So this is how they are written in your calculator. So is written as SIN, CAH is written as COS, and TOA is written as TAN. Okay. So we're going to consider situations where we are given the sides and we're expected to find the angle, or we are given this one side and one angle and we're expected to find the other side. Welcome everyone on TikTok. Thank you guys for joining. We usually have our class on YouTube, but today I decided to also add the TikTok followers. So if you want to be part of my WhatsApp group, if you're on TikTok and you want to be part of my WhatsApp group, you can just send me a DM, a message at the end. You can just send me a DM at the end of the class, okay? So now let's look at some examples. For example, find the value of x in So here we're expected to find the value of x in that right angle triangle. So remember, we need to confirm that it is a right angle triangle. How do we confirm it? First, one of the angles must be 90 degrees, right? So since this is 90 degrees, we know that this is a right angle triangle. Okay. The next thing we are going to check is, what are we going to use? Are we going to use SOH? Are we going to use CAH? Are we going to use TAN or TOA? Okay. So it depends on the values we are giving. So let's look. This is the 90 degrees. Therefore, this is the hypotenuse. Okay. This is the angle theta. Therefore, this is the opposite. And this is the adjacent. So the missing side shows us what we are going to use, the missing side. So if you look at this side is missing. Therefore, anything that contains hypotenuse cannot be used. So the missing side is the hypotenuse. There's nothing on the hypotenuse. So since there's nothing on the hypotenuse, this question has nothing to do with any of the terms that has hypotenuse. So there's hypotenuse here, therefore we cannot use so. CAH, there is hypotenuse here, therefore we cannot use CAH. Okay, and then TOA, we don't have any hypotenuse. We have opposite, which is here, and adjacent, which is here. So that is what we are going to apply. So we are going to write tan. Remember, I told you earlier that TOA is also called tan. So we're going to write tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. So that's what we are going to use. Tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now, what is our theta? Our theta is the angle here, which is 35 degrees. So we can simply say tan 35 degrees is equal to, what is our opposite? Our opposite is x, all over our adjacent is 12. Okay. Those on YouTube, is the screen still blurry? Okay, so now, well, how do we go further? We know that tan 35 degrees is the same thing as tan 35 degrees all over 1. Because anything divided by 1 is that thing. So now we can cross multiply. This numerator can multiply this denominator, and this numerator can multiply this denominator. So x times 1 will give us x. Tan 35 degrees times 12. So we have 12 times tan 35 degrees. So what will that give us? If you have your calculator, you can simply go to your calculator and type tan 35 degrees. Tan 35 degrees. What will that give you? What will tan 35 degrees give you? Who knows the answer to that? Or who has a calculator? Tan 35 degrees. Yeah, 8.4 is the final answer. But what's tan 35 degrees? .47. So x is equal to 0.47 times 12. Oh, on TikTok, that side is not showing. I'm going to write it here. So this will give us 12 times 0.47. And 12 times 0.47 will give us 5.64. I don't think that's correct. I don't think that's correct. So that means 0.47 is not correct. 0.7, 0.7004. Okay. So we multiply that by 12. 12 times 0.7004. And that gives us 8.4. So we have 8.4 centimeter. Okay. 8.4 centimeter. Good. So we've been able to find a missing side of this right angle triangle because we were given one side and one angle. So Sohcahtoh has been used to calculate a missing side because we were given one side and one angle. Okay. So quickly go to the next example. Someone is saying, how did I get my answer? Okay, tan 35 degrees, if you use your calculator and type tan 35, you're going to get 0.7004, about that. Then multiply by this 12 you have here. That will give you 8.4 centimeter. Somebody is saying tan 35 is 0.47. You use your calculator to calculate tan. You use your calculator to calculate tan 35. For me, I use my phone. For me, I use my phone. Okay. Okay, I think we should continue because we have a short time to work on this. So now let's look at a word problem on this particular question. Another example. So this question is a word problem on Sohcahtoh. Okay, so this is a word problem involving Nuri. Nice to see you. Good evening. We started about 25 minutes ago. Okay, so this is a word problem on Pythagoras theorem. Let's look at what we're expected to do here. So first thing, for you to solve this, you must convert this word problem to a drawing, to a right angle triangle. Okay, so we are told that a ladder is leaning against a wall. So first thing, let's draw the wall. Okay, and we have a ladder leaning against the wall. So this is the ground level, and this is the ladder. Okay, and it's leaning against this wall. So the ladder is 1.8 meter long. So that means this ladder is 1.8 meter long. And the bottom of the ladder, this is the bottom of the ladder, is 0.5 meters from the base of the wall. So this is the base of the wall. And the distance between the bottom of the ladder and the base of the wall is 0.5 meters. Now, we are told that to be considered safe, a ladder must form an angle of between 70 and 80 degrees with the floor. So this ladder, the angle here must be between 70 and 80 degrees. So now they're asking us, is the ladder safe? So how do we know if the ladder is safe? First, we need to find this angle. When we found the angle, if the angle is between 70 and 80 degrees, then we can say that this ladder is safe. If it is not between that, then it is not safe. It is not safe. Okay. So let's look at it. So this is the angle we are looking for. We call it theta. Therefore, where is the hypotenuse? We know that this point is the 90 degrees. Therefore, the side opposite the 90 degrees is the hypotenuse. The side opposite the angle is the opposite, and the third side is the adjacent. Okay, so we have been able to identify the hypotenuse, we've been able to identify the opposite, and we've been able to identify the adjacent. Next is, what are we going to use? Are we going to use SOH? Are we going to use CAH? Or are we going to use TOA? So what do you think we should use? Somebody has already identified that we should use cos or CAH. Cos is the same thing as CAH. So do we all agree? Good. CAH. We are using CAH because CAH contains adjacent and hypotenuse. There is no opposite in CAH. So here we are not given the opposite, therefore we cannot use opposite, right? So let's look at it. We have cos theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So cos theta, our adjacent is 0.5, so we have 0.5 all over our hypotenuse is 1.8. So what is 0.5 divided by 1.8? Okay, Golden Boy is saying, can you teach me how to calculate it on a calculator? So I'm going to make a video, expect it tomorrow morning. I'm going to make a video where I'll video my calculator, how I'm going to do this calculation, cos, tan, sine. I'm going to make a video on that, okay? I'll post it on the WhatsApp group tomorrow. Okay, someone is saying, 0.5 divided by 1 point. Let me confirm with my calculator. 0.5 divided by 1.8. 0.27778. Let's call it 0. So cos theta is equal to 0.2778. Okay. Okay, next we have cos theta is equal to 0.2778 or 0.28, anywhere you want to shorten it. So for us to get theta, we need to move, for us to get theta, we need to move cos to this other side. And when you move cos to the other side, it's going to become the inverse of cos. So we're going to have theta is equal to cos inverse of 0.2778. Cos inverse of 0.2778. Do you think that will be easier? 0.28 will be easier, as long as you're able to type it on your calculator. 0.2778. So when you do that, what do you get? 15.5 meters. How did you get 15.5 meters? Remember, we are looking for angle. We are looking for angle. And we are doing cos inverse. Cos inverse. Who knows how to do cos inverse? So if you don't know how to do it, just check out the video I'm going to do tomorrow on my YouTube channel. How to do sine, cos, cos inverse, and all that. I'm going to do good shift cos, correct? Shift and cos. You press your shift, you press your cos, and then you type this number. So when you do that, what will you get? What will you get? I've gotten my answer, but I want to get an answer from you guys. 78.87, correct? Somebody said 73. Yeah, mine is 73 actually. 73. Okay. 78.87, 70, sorry, 73.37, 73.9. So theta is equal to 73. Let's use 73.9 degrees. 73.9 degrees. Okay. So from what we've gotten, can we say that this ladder is safe? Can we say that this ladder is safe? Can we say that the ladder is safe? Yes, definitely safe, because the angle is between 70 degrees and 80 degrees. So anything between 70 degrees and 80 degrees is considered safe. Good. Those on YouTube, are you guys still with us? Okay. So this is the simple answer. So we're going to look at one more example, then I'll give an assignment. I just try to squeeze out some minutes today. My schedule is very, very tight. Golden Boy, you can ask a question. Okay, Lauren say we are together. Okay, good. So now let's look at, when you are solving word problems, you need to also be careful about the English. Yeah, the English is important. So let's look at another example. Then I'll give a classwork. So those of you that are on the WhatsApp group, thank you for the gift. Those of you that are on the WhatsApp group, I was considering that we should learn, because you guys are the best persons to determine if we should learn a topic, because you guys consistently come to class. I was thinking that we should learn bearing next week. Bearing. What do you guys think? When we are dividing, you brought the smallest number out first. Hmm. Why is it that when we were dividing, what were we dividing? This one? I don't think I brought any number out first. I only did what is on the board. Yeah, Maki, you're saying yeah. What are you saying yes to? Let's okay. On YouTube, I'm getting yes, yes. Okay. So the vote stands. That means on Monday there will be no voting in the WhatsApp group. We'll just, because the question I want us to solve now is, a part of it is on um, bearing, but I'm just going to give it to you as an assignment. We are not going to solve it. When we learn bearing next week, then you can solve that question. Okay. Okay, my YouTube channel is the same name, Agbani Mass Academy. So Agbani Mass Academy. We usually have our class on YouTube, but today I just decided to extend to TikTok. So we have our class on on Wednesdays and Fridays in the evening. If you join the WhatsApp group, you'll always be informed when I'm going live. So if you want to join the WhatsApp group, just send me a message at the end of the live class. If you're on TikTok and you want to join the WhatsApp group, send me a message at the end of the live class, and I'll add you to the WhatsApp group. Okay. So let's look at the next example. So it's also a word problem. Okay. Sorry, my handwriting looks somehow. From my point of view, the handwriting is funny. It looks funny. Okay, but just bear with me. So in this story, this is actually a story. Okay. So remember, every time you're solving a question that has word problem, always pick picture the story as if you were in that environment when this was happening. When you're able to picture the story, then you'll be able to transfer what happened to a mathematical situation. Okay. So here we are told that a builder is constructing a roof. Okay. The wood he is using for the sloped section of the roof is 4 meter long. So the roof is the wood he's using is 4 meter long. That's the length of the wood he's using. And the peak of the roof is 2 meter high. That is the highest point of the roof is 2 meter high. What angle should the piece of wood make with the base of the roof? For this roof to be constructed accurately, they're asking us what angle should the piece of wood make with the base of the roof. So now let's draw this building. So whenever you are building a house, the peak of the roof is mostly at the middle of the house. I don't know if this diagram is too small. It looks small. Let me increase it. Okay, so the peak of the roof is usually at the middle of the building, right? It's usually at the middle of the building. So, and we are told that the peak of the roof is 2 meter high. So this is 2 meters. And from the peak of the roof, we are supposed to put a wood here and put a wood here. But we are told that this wood that is used to construct the sloped section is 4 meter long. So here is 4 meters. So this wood that I'm using to make this slope, we are told that it is 4 meter long. Now we're asked, what angle should the piece of wood, this wood, make with the base of the roof? So this is the base of the roof. So what angle should it make? That's the question. What angle should it make here? So we know that if this wood is properly done, it's supposed to be 90 degrees. So that's what we know. So if this wood is properly done, it's supposed to be vertical, which is 90 degrees. That means this side is the opposite of this angle. So this is, first of all, let's identify the hypotenuse. The 90 degrees is here, therefore, this is the hypotenuse. And this, the angle that we're looking for is here. Yes, therefore, this is the opposite. And that means this is the adjacent. Okay. So, so we have identified the hypotenuse, we have identified the opposite, we have identified the adjacent. So between SOH, CAH, and TOA, what are we going to use? Between SOH, CAH, and TOA, what are we going to use? Yeah, somebody said SOH. Somebody says SOH, okay. Another person said SOH. I think it's the same person. Oluwatife. Okay. So we are using SOH because from this diagram, the adjacent is missing. So anything that contains adjacent cannot be used, correct? Samba said SOH on YouTube. So we are using the SOH, which is sine. So you can simply say sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Okay. So we don't know what theta is. So sine, no, I think I should write it here because I'm going to post this on a clip, a short clip. This clip, I'm going to post it later on TikTok. So let me write it this way. If I write it this way, it's going to be covered by likes, comments, share. So sine theta equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So we know that our opposite is 2. our hypotenuse is 4. So we have sine theta is equal to 2 over 4. So 2 over 4 is the same thing as 0.5. So sine theta is equal to 0.5. So for us to find theta, we need to move sine to the other side of the equation, which will make it to become sine inverse. So theta is equal to sine inverse of 0.5. Theta will be equal to what? What will be the value of theta? Yeah, shift sine 0.5. You press on your calculator, you press shift sine 0.5. 30, 30. Lawrence says 60. Are you sure it's 60? Shift sine 0.5. I don't think it will give you 60. 30. So that means the angle is 30 degrees. So that will be the angle that this sloped wood is going to make with the base of the roof. Okay. So we have seen two situations where we can use Sohcahtoh TOA to solve practical real life problems. Okay. Okay, Lawrence. Okay, correct. 30 degrees. So as I said earlier, I'm going to leave the assignment for today. The assignment is also applicable in bearing. Okay. So next week, what we'll be learning is bearing. If you're on TikTok and you want to join my WhatsApp group, send me a message right after this class. So I'm going to add you to the WhatsApp group. Actually, it's a free WhatsApp group. It's not a paid WhatsApp group. It's free. It's free WhatsApp group. So you can just okay. Sorry, I got a call on one of my phones. So let me write down the assignment and then we'll be done with today's class. Okay. Golden Boy says he does not understand my calculation. Is it that you don't understand the process or you don't understand how to use these signs? If you don't understand how to use these signs, tomorrow morning I'm going to make a video showing how to use your calculator to do all these sine theta, sine this, cos this, and all that. I'm going. Okay. So I'm going to do that tomorrow for you guys. Okay. So I'm going to write the assignment right now. So when I've done that, you can then go through this video again. Okay. I think you understand that better. Yeah, as I said, when I use the calculator to show you all those things, how to solve, then just try and watch this video again. It will make more sense. Just watch the video again. Hope the network is not bad. Because I think the network is getting bad on TikTok. So let me write the assignment before the network tells me that I've overstayed my welcome. So as I said, you will understand this question better. Yeah, the network is a little bit bad today. For TikTok, I guess, because YouTube is not experiencing that. So this is the assignment. A helicopter flies 40 kilometers east, followed by 105 kilometers south. On what bearing must the helicopter fly to return home directly? So it will be easier to solve this when we have learned about bearing. Okay, so but you can attempt it. But next week we're going to learn about bearing. So those of you that are on TikTok, next week we might not be on TikTok. We'll be on YouTube to learn about the topic. We have learned so many topics before now. If you want to see all the topics we have learned, they are all on my bio on uh, my TikTok platform. So if you go to the link on that bio, you see all the topics that we have learned, all the live classes we've learned. So in case you need any topic among those, you can just watch them and you get a very detailed understanding of the topic. Okay. So we've learned about simultaneous equations, quadratic equations, indices, logarithm, area of plane shapes. There are many topics we've learned since we started doing this since last month. So you can join the class if you want. Okay, so I think we'll stop here for today. Um, we'll continue on Monday. I'm trying to start. I'm thinking about an interactive class between myself and students in my WhatsApp group where you can ask questions uh, concerning how to improve your academic performance, how to make the right career choice. Some persons in my WhatsApp group are not students, they have graduated. So, how to navigate your career choices. So, there are many things we can be discussing about. Um, I'm still trying to work that out and put that in my schedule. That's if the students will be interested in that. For example, sorry. For, for example, I studied civil engineering, but I had to observe the reality of the times we are living in, and I saw how to navigate um, in today's society. Look for what is important and what people need, what is in high demand. Okay, so I didn't wait to continue practicing civil engineering when I could delve into something else. Okay, so many people are studying things that are not relevant in today's society, right? So we can be looking at things like that. Possibly from next month, we'll be looking at those classes, but it will exclusively be on YouTube because I don't always have access to. Right now, I'm using 4 phones. I'm using 2 phones for the videoing, and I'm using 2 phones for monitoring. So they might not always be available for me because one is not mine, it's my wife's phone. Okay, so I think we'll stop here, but those of you that are on the WhatsApp group, just um, get prepared for that because it will really help you guys. It flies east. It doesn't. What you just need to know is if it is here, east is this way. That's the most important thing, and then it goes down south. So they are now asking you what bearing will it travel to get straight back here. That's what they're asking. Okay, so that's just what they're asking you guys. Sorry, I have to go. My wife is receiving calls on her phone consistently, and I've been turning it off. Okay, so we'll see in our next class. If you have any question, you can send it to me directly. Those of you that are on the WhatsApp, my phone number is there. You can send me any questions concerning this class. Okay, so see you next week. See you next week. Have a wonderful evening. Adios.